up, man. Erased this video, so I'm gonna have to do it again. This symbol right here is known as a zodiac cross, but it's also a symbol of some Indian cultures call it the hoop of life. And it's kind of, and it's also, if you look at it, you could, if you put skins around it, and these were sticks, you could turn that into a shield. It's not really, well known that the Indian was also good with shield. You know what I'm saying? That's one of his characteristics. If the North American Indian is Gad, he would have had the shield, and it might not be what you thought it was. They used to make them out of leather hides, and you kind of use them to deflect things. You know what I'm saying? They're not like, and they're very lightweight, so there's a different way to use them. But anyway, this Templar's cross right here. Let me shorten up the top here. This Templar's cross. They're kind of red cross, or they're kind of flared out at the ends here like this. It's very European. Look, look, it's turning almost into a Nazi-looking cross as well, right? This cross, but without the flary outness. There's a Canadian Indian tribe that has a white flag with that cross on it, which it's a knight's cross. You know what I'm saying? It's this cross, and then I don't know how much of this is with this. You know what I'm saying? But because this, and look, you put a circle around this. You got the zodiac cross, the sun cross. You got the paganistic Catholic sun god Christ. Okay. The Indians don't necessarily associate this with this, but then again, I don't know. But this, if you look at this on the other hand too, it reminded me of something. Seeing this cross here, if you added a little extra here, a little extra here, little extra here, and then a double portion down here, okay? Like, I watched this dude, Jonathan Vay, and he made a video about how the different tribes were set up, okay? And it would be like this. The middle section right here, this is like the place where, I guess, gathering. And different tribes would be, or different members or whatever, different types of people would be located in these different spots. Like, I guess this is inner court. This gate is where you enter into there. If you're standing here and looking towards the east, if you're looking, or if you're here and you're got backs to the temple looking to the east, here you're supposed to look in anyway. But it's marked in this configuration where there's a box, a box, a box, a box, a box, an extra box on the bottom, and then these areas in the armpits are the Levites' territory, and this is pasturing lands. It's also places where they can stay away from the funkery of the main bodies, right? And all this pasture here, and the Levites basically, these guys would fight and doing all that other stuff. And since the Levites took care of all the holy things, they needed to be a part, and everyone kind of kicked in for the Levites. You know what I'm saying? And this was their lands on the outside, on the borders here. They lived in the armpit, and I looked at it, and I was like, it looks similar to this. You know what I'm saying? But then again, or I was thinking, that is it possibly connected to that? This is when they had the Ark of Covenant and they were moving around. So Indians, the way they set up too, they would have like a main base, and then people would move out in different directions and start having, like, you'd have remote hunting camps. Like, here's a tribe, and then the in-between lands, like if you lived here, and then these other guys, like here's Sault Ste. Marie, here's Mackinac, here's Detroit, here's Flint. Detroit's more like down here. You know what I'm saying? You got the Pillager Band over here. These guys from up here, he would send his wampum and his war club, and he'd send it from tribe to tribe. Someone would run it here. This guy that dropped it off would run it back here. This guy would run it to here, and then to here, and then back and deliver it back to him. And that means that we need to have a meeting. And this is also in Numbers. Joshua was given a rod, and and like some kind of special clothes. So when he walked around, everyone seen him. They knew he was the man of authority to talk in between the tribes. And with this passing of the war club to the surrounding tribes, in a way, there's similarities to that Numbers thing. And even in the configuration and the way the Indians hooked up and moved around, if you read Chronicles and Numbers and Deuteronomy and stuff like that, there's a lot of little descriptions in Kings, because all the tribes are all in there all the time, and they operated something off the schematic. Some were allowed to build little villages with they had fenced villages. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of tent action going on. I mean, listen, I'm not a total expert on this, but the way he said it made sense, and I was already kind of somewhat familiar with it. But I don't want to get confused with this, because I showed you this and how it's modeled off this, but I don't want to use this to validate this, because this is a pagan sun cult. Look, you go like this, look, 1,000 points of light, and look, that would be called the Black Sun Odin. If you go like this, and go like this, and go like this, and go like this, that Templar cross turns into a Nazi sign. And this is the Black Sun, aka Odin, the one-eyed god. The one-eyed man is king. In the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king. Satan. Same thing. It's just another modification of Zeus. You know what I'm saying? Basically, that's what I see. And Saturn, Jupiter, Lucifer. You know what I'm saying? Saturn, Satan. I mean, Saturn's also known as the Black Sun. So, that's what I don't like about this right here. But the Indians also did have the symbol of the swastika, but it was more like the directions they're going. Their stuff was backwards, I think. And they were small like this. You know what I'm saying? And the Asians also had a similar symbol. And that meant good luck, I think. There. And it didn't mean Saturn and Odin and all that. You know what I mean? I guess you could say they call it a sun wheel. You know, as a symbol. But when you flip it, it becomes the Black Sun, which stands for Odin. And, aka Satan. When you think of that song Black Hole Sun, if you hear that song now, knowing what you knew about all this shit, gives it a whole new meaning here. And even the cube of Saturn, when it cracks open, it makes this formation right here. So the Levites are chilling out here, but look, if someone comes in and messes with the Levites, you got two guys right here. Wham, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. You know what I'm saying? And then, while you go to fight them here, you send runners to get the guys from here, send runners to get the guys from here, and then as he runs, send another runner to get this guy, and then these guys hold off, get them fighting, and then all of a sudden, boom, big, huge ambush. You know what I'm saying? That's the way the Indians worked. Look, if our territory's here, ours or our neighbor was there, our cousins, and we're out here hunting. Our tribe, their tribe, and then, or their band, and then here comes some enemies coming in from here. Like, we're here. Enemies come in here, but we got hunters out here. Oh shoot, here comes the enemy. They run back to here, and as these guys creep in, bam, 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 coming from all angles, and they already sent runners back, and the guys from the other areas eventually come in. But back in the day, they said when they heard gunshots, all the Indians would just go bam, running right to the battle. So I mean, that happened a lot, where war party would come in, smoke a couple Ojibways, but then end up losing their whole war party and only two of them making it back. So I mean, if you when you read these customs and the feuds, you see how stupid it is. You know what I'm saying? How it's just sometimes it's I mean, there's even Indian legends about like the peace pipe that comes from the Great Spirit, and he said that look, the blood of innocent people cry unto heaven to me, and you guys instead of making war, make peace with one another, and then marry into each other's tribes and adopt one another, and but when you do that, as always, I guess traditions get mixed, and then you start to disobey, your commitments to God, and then judgment comes, and your lands are taken away and conquered by other people. It's funny. It's like Andrew Jackson says, we're gonna all be slaves in the land that our fathers conquered. My fathers also conquered this land before we were conquered, but we were conquered. We were internally conquered anyway because of the onslaught of British and French, and then diseases, and then the American government, and the cavalry, and then it's the infighting and feuding, and then when it's a difficult situation, but that's one of the things about looking at it is I don't want to paint it always like too romantic. I got to tell you the truth about it. There was very hostile times, but that's some of the Indians what they said. They said God really told them that they wanted them to make peace with the white man. Even that's one of the reasons why they let them get so deep in the land. You know what I'm saying? Because they were being obedient to God, when the white man, in all actuality, was over here stealing and robbing the land. And then once then God left the people, and they just turned to savagery because they were in a war with savage people, and you mirror the people you're fighting. So Indians became more savage because the Europeans method. If read Machiavelli, the Prince, and then think about that, and they were using all that shit on the Indians when with bad interpretation, like basically making people sign peace treaties at gunpoint, and then having the people assassinated after they got their mark on the with the pen or whatever, dude. I'm serious. You can look that up. Hey, Google and see how many Indian leaders were assassinated or botched assassinations, dude, by the the U.S. federal government back in those days. But anyway, yeah, I just threw all this shit in here together. It was through a little Indian, through a little Nazi, little Aryan, little Saturn, a little biblical setup of the camp, and then a little background on that history, and then a little background on some of these histories. So you know what I'm saying? I'm not saying follow all of them, but the fact of it, listen, if you see a guy walking down the street with one of these on his forehead, you know that's a motherfucking Nazi. So it's worth knowing what the fuck it means. It means Black Sun Odin. That is also Satan. He's the one-eyed man, the all-seeing eye. You know what I'm saying? Same old shit. Same old shizzle.